Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference with your host, Teresa Velardi. We believe that authentic, meaningful, and diverse conversations are the glue that binds us together. Our discussions remind us we have the power to uplift, challenge, stretch, and invite dynamic growth. Are you like many, feeling like you're flying by the seat of your pants through life? Join us for conversations filled with gratitude, values, abundance, authenticity, and faith. Here's the host of our show, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference. And today we have Suzy Prudden with us. But before I introduce my guest, we know that for those of you who have been watching me for a while, we start off with a prayer. We start with a serenity prayer, and then we'll get right into our discussion because we have a lot to talk about today. So let's start with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness with passion and purpose, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others. And all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Suzy Prudden, welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and honored at the same time.
I'm happy to have you. Let me tell the audience, I'm going to read your bio so the audience knows a little bit about who you are and how you be, okay?
Okie dokie.
Suzy Prudden is a legend. She's an influencer and business pioneer for the last 60 years. Yes, I said 60. Suzy is now bringing her expertise to the publishing world. She's an award-winning, internationally acclaimed speaker, workshop and seminar leader, New York Times bestselling author, fitness expert, mind-body pioneer, success and empowerment coach, TV host for NBC and Nickelodeon, radio host for WAI in New York, a creator of the Inner Mind certification program, and publisher. She shared this stage with Tony Robbins. Get ready. There's a long checklist here. So Tony Robbins, Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay, Jack Canfield, Mark Vincent Hansen, Reverend Michael Beckwith, A.J. Abraham, and that's just to name a few. She's been interviewed by Barbara Walters, Oprah Winfrey, Walter Cronkite, Jane Pauley, Joan London, Regis Philbin, Mike Douglas, and more. You've seen Suzy on Oprah, Good Morning America, and the Today Show. If Suzy's talking about it today, the rest of the country will be talking about tomorrow, as per the New York Times. Suzy, I'm so excited to have you. Welcome again to Conversations That Make a Difference. You've been hanging with some people, haven't you?
I have. You know, it's so funny, Teresa, when every once in a while I'll remember something, like until last summer, seriously, I had forgotten about Barbara Walters. I just forgot, life goes on, we go forward. And I was talking to Kim Yancey, the co-founder of eWomen Network. So I was going to be speaking at their conference in Dallas last summer. And he said to me, "You're the real deal, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And in that instant, I remembered this was July of 1965. I was not 8 months pregnant. I had started my business the year before. And I was, as a fitness person, I was teaching people in my living room on a 5-flight walk up in Greenwich Village. I told people got in shape just getting to my apartment. And I get a call from ABC. "Would you like to come down and do a radio interview?" Because they knew my name. And this is what I talk about today. They have to know you. It's not about you knowing them, it's they knowing you. They knew my name. They called me. would you like to come and do a half-hour radio interview? Now, I don't know anything. I'm new in business. I'm 22 years old. And sure. So I go down to ABC or up to ABC, and I go to the studio where I'm going to be interviewed. And the woman comes out of the studio, reaches out her hand to introduce herself and says, "Hello, I'm Barbara Walters." That was the second interview ever.
Wow.
And it just kept going like that. And again, it's because of the people that knew me in the fitness world. I mean, my mother was a very famous fitness authority.
Okay.
And her name was Bonnie Prudden. She started the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports. And so when I went into fitness, I chose her name, Prudden. That was not my birth name. She gave me permission. She trained me. And so I was Suzy Prudden. I've been Suzy Prudden since 1965, and people know my name. And for everybody listening, watching, hearing this interview, you have to get known if you want to if you want people to buy your product. And when you're collaborating with people, you know, because you have a name and people know you, that you are adding value to the person who is adding value to you. For example, you are adding value to me by having me on this show. And my name, and I don't say that egotistically, it's just a fact. The name Prudden, people pay attention. I had a client this morning. I spoke in San Diego recently, and I had a client this morning who said, "I chose to go to that meeting specifically because you were going to be there."
Interesting.
And so that's what everybody needs, that kind of recognition.
Yeah. And, here's the thing, we talk about collaboration, we talk about connection, we talk about community. The connections that you have will not just benefit you and your business, but they will benefit people that you are associated with.
Right.
And the same thing with, like people would say to me, "Teresa, you're a publisher. Why would you have another publisher on your show?" Well, because the publishing industry, number one, is huge. Suzy and I do different things.
Totally.
We do different things, right? Totally different things. She and I are collaborating in a way that she's going to be a contributing author to one of the Daily Gift books, which my audience knows about. And we're going to talk about that later on. And so we give each other, by connecting with people in different arenas, you edify one another, thus raising both of you higher up in the circle of people that are, having or interested in these conversations that we're having, right?
Absolutely. And another thing, so I want my authors to have the opportunity to be in one of your books. I don't do that. And a friend of mine who's a publisher, Karen Strauss in New York.
I know Karen.
I sent her a client, and we were talking, and she said, "Why did you send me that client?" I said, "Because I don't do what you do."
Yeah.
And so it's not about me keeping if I don't do if I don't have the kind of books that you have, so why wouldn't I want my authors to have the opportunity to do something that for your readers?
Exactly. Yeah. It's exact. I know Karen, by the way, and I love that Karen. When I first learned about Karen in the beginning, before I got to know her a little bit, she was the publicist for Og Mandino.
I didn't know that.
She was.
I believe you. I bought a book simply because he recommended it.
Yeah.
You know the book, Mutant Message Down Under?
Yes.
So it says recommended by Og Mandino. I said, okay, good enough for him. It's good enough for me.
It's good enough for you. I love Og Mandino's books. I love his books. And when I found out about her, being associated in that way with Og Mandino, it immediately, I'm saying this because it immediately brings a level of respect to the person who has the connection to him. The same thing that we're talking about. I mean, one of your first interviews, you walk in and you're shaking hands with Barbara Walters. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. The same thing with Oprah. I mean, I started doing Oprah's show Well, she wasn't Oprah at the time yet.
Mhm.
1981, she was still in Baltimore
Mhm.
as a newscaster. 1981, I was on a book tour. She interviewed me. 1983, I was on another book tour. She interviewed me. Then in 1986, she was in Chicago, not yet the Oprah show. She was on AM Chicago, and they called me. Would you come on the show? And it's like, what time do you want me to be there, right?
Yeah. Of
And
course.
then in '89, when my book Meta Fitness, published by Hay House, came out, they couldn't get me on the show.
Wow.
So I hired my own publicist. He got me on the show.
Mhm.
Again, he had a friend who was a producer. I didn't know this. I just knew he was going to do it, and he did it. It's so, this world is so fascinating
Yeah.
with all the ins and outs
Mhm.
and the
Mhm.
history and so many. It's like, I love your series. It's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we this was an assignment. I don't know if you know the story behind this, right? I'll tell you the story so that you know the assignment that I got. So I'm a ceramic artist. I'm a potter. I was gifted with that gift, and I didn't realize it until I made my first pottery in a high school classroom. And I've been doing pottery for years. When I moved to Pennsylvania, I set up my own studio, was doing a whole bunch of things that, classes and shows and whatnot. And people got to know me as a potter. And then one day I'm sitting at the wheel, and it's always been a spiritual experience for me, always. And so I'm sitting at the wheel and I'm having a conversation with God. All right, is this all there is? Am I going to keep my hands in the mud for the rest of my life, or is there something else? And I heard in my spirit that there were books. Now, I had been journaling for years and years, to get through with whatever life was giving me, and keeping a gratitude journal too. And then I heard a daily gift, and then I heard gratitude first, and then voila,
Oh,
daily
it's
gift of
beautiful.
gratitude, right? So, and this, the beautiful thing about this is I incorporate however many people that have touched my life along the way. I try and give them some, a nod to say thank you for being part of my life. This picture was taken on a beach in Long Island by one of my friends who goes to the beach every night and takes a picture of the sunset. Thank you, Nick Caritas. Then after gratitude, I started getting a list of books to put together. So gratitude, a grateful heart breeds a hopeful heart. So we have hope, and we have the Montauk Lighthouse, because lighthouses are beacons of hope for sailors lost at sea, right? So we got now a grateful heart becomes a hopeful heart, becomes a kind heart, which is then, daily gift of kindness was next, right? And then with all of those things put together, we have a sense of peace within our souls. So we have a daily gift of peace, riding on the wings of a seagull. I was always on the beach. And this picture was taken by an elementary school friend at the Outer Banks in North Carolina. Thank you, Roy. And he takes a picture of the sunrise every morning. So I get the opportunity to showcase them as well. People have made a difference in my life, because that's what this is, right? Conversations that make a difference. Yeah. And then the friendship book has the rose on it. The yellow rose is a symbol of friendship.
I have a story about that too.
Go ahead, tell me.
So in 1980, I think it was 86 or 87, I belonged to an organization called the Inside Edge. Mm-hmm. And that's where Jack Canfield started, Mark Victor Hansen started, Louise Hay, Barbara DeAngelis. So I was speaking one week, and Louise was speaking not the same time, but on the same bill, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And Diana, who ran the organization, said, "Where do you want to sit? It's a breakfast meeting." I said, "With Louise." I had not yet met her. And so I was at Louise's table. We were sitting next to each other, and we're having a wonderful time. And it turns out that she lived literally 10 blocks from where I lived in the Palisades, which unfortunately is no longer. Yeah. And so she invited me over that afternoon. So on my way, I stopped at a garden center and got a rose plant. a yellow rose plant.
Oh, interesting.
And I just got it because it felt like the right thing to do. You know, it's like you. It's like God pointed me to that bush and I picked it up and brought it to her. She said, she was very grateful. She said, thank you. I don't remember telling you that yellow roses are my favorite flower. I said, you didn't tell me. And she goes, oh, we became such good friends. She used to come over to my house twice a week. We'd exercise together because I was moving from that career to body mind technology. She was in the body mind technology. And one day, this is a great story. See that picture of me there? I'm not used to having this there.
Yes, with Oprah.
Okay, and the book that I'm holding is Meta Fitness. So I'm working out with Louise. She hurt her hip. Ow, my hip hurts. I said, well, Louise, you're the expert. What does it mean? And she said, I don't remember what she said, but it means such and such and such and such. Okay, I've got it. And I had an idea. I said, Louise, why don't we do a book together? I'll do a video together. I'll do the exercises. You do the affirmations. And so then next week we're exercising again together. And she had gone to the board. They said yes. So we did the video. We did a book. That's what got me on the Oprah show that last time. And I did a 15-city tour with it. It's interesting. I still have the video. It's now in the MP4. And somebody was watching it one day. She said, oh, Suzy, you look like you're in the 80s. I said, I am in the
80s. Yeah.
Because with the socks and the leotard and the, and I had a group behind me, and Louise's voice is there. You can hear her voice consciously. And then there's a whole track of subliminal. It was a great project. It was a great project.
Yeah. But how many people can say they were friends with Louise Hay? She lived 10 blocks away and you hit it off immediately. And I find it really interesting. It's just, we're all connected. We are all connected in one way or another. How else would you have known that the yellow rose was her favorite? You wouldn't have known it, but that little seed was planted in your heart when you went that day to get something and it spoke to you.
Yeah. And that's how I live my life. And like you did, you said something I say often. I was talking to God.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, God, how you doing today? and God says, fine, how you doing? Or you're not doing too well today, Suzy. Or just go around the corner. There's such an amazing surprise waiting for you there. And God, like you said, is this all there is? It's like, where do you need me? When I was homeless, that's another story. Every day I used to say, okay, God, where do you want me? Now, I never had to live in my car or on the street. I always had wonderful places to stay. That's a whole other story. And a funny one. It's a TEDx talk. But it was like, okay, you've got me out here. I don't have a home yet.
Yeah.
Where do you want me? And so I knew that wherever I was, that's where God chose for me to be.
Yeah. A lot of people, there was somebody who I forget exactly. Oh, I know. I worked with Dennis Patoco on a project called Unsheltered, a book. And there was a story in there about a nun who chose to live on the streets. And her ministry was on the streets,
right.
And every day brought something new for her. And she had safe places to sleep at night. She had people who took her in, who took care of her. But she made a difference on the streets for the people. So everybody has an assignment, so to speak. I believe everybody has assignment. We have the gifts and talents in order to be able to do that assignment to the best of our ability while we are here on this spinning ball called planet Earth.
It's an island.
Yeah.
Island in space.
Yeah, an island in space. Exactly. Some people call it a spinning ball. Some people have another opinion. We will never know. We won't know until the time comes when we leave whatever this is, right? We won't know for sure.
So as my sister was dying, I was talking to her on the phone. She wasn't talking back. She was listening, and she was literally on her way out. So I said, her daughter was with her. I said to her, Petey, write to me when you get there. She said, now, Beatty was not communicating with anybody. She was basically on her way out. So I
Mm.
said that to her, and Jackie said, she's laughing.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
heard me, even though she was not communicating, because I made her laugh as she was dying. I did talk to a medium, and I did talk to her.
You
And
did?
yeah. And she said, it's different here. The interesting thing, she said, Suzy, I did not know how much pain I was in until I got here, and I have no pain.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think that's the thing that a lot of people, I believe, my mom died of cancer, and a lot of people, they're like, oh, you should just do whatever to keep her alive. And I'm like, yeah,
mm-mm.
why,
Yeah. Yeah, my
and
sister she had taken a very bad fall, and she said to her daughter, I can't do this anymore. And she basically just stopped eating, stopped drinking. And then if someone gave her some water, Jackie would say, every time you give her a sip of water, it makes her stay here one more day.
mm,
And she was in so much. They gave her, morphine and stuff to dull the pain, but still, that's not living.
no, but I'll tell you a quick story about my mom before she left. A couple of nights beforehand, I'm having a conversation with her, just like you and I are talking, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and all of a sudden she's looking like in the corner, and something has her attention.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but something has her attention. And then she started giggling, and I'm like, Mom, I realized what was going on. And I said, Mom, all right, who's here? And she started naming all of my relatives, and my grandmother, my great aunt, and my great grandmother on Sunday afternoons with my uncle, my grandmother's brother. We used to have dinner together. And after dinner, we would go downstairs and into the second kitchen, because every good Italian woman in that day had two kitchens in her house, one for the meal and one to make the pasta.
I didn't know that.
I said to my mother, I said, Mom, what are they doing? And she said, they're cooking the pasta for the party. I'm going home.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So immediately I went back in my head to when I was a little kid, and I was in that moment with her, knowing exactly what she was feeling, because it brought my memory back to when I was a child and had them all around me making the pasta, so we did everything, raviolis, fettuccine, whatever. We made all the pasta.
What
and
a
it was
beautiful story.
yeah. She was,
gonna have a party. I'm going home.
Yeah, they're cooking the pasta for the party. I'm going home. Well, they say anytime somebody goes home, they have a party. So
I didn't know that either. This is an opportunity of education.
Yeah, see that? Well, no, and I get, one of the things that I love about what we do now is with the books is we get to tell those stories, and let everybody enjoy them. I think that I think I put that story in A Daily Gift of Hope. I think I put that in that story, in that book. But there's a lot of things that happen in our lives that we think are just like passing moments, and then somebody shows up that has had a similar experience, or you can share notes, just like we just did, and we can put it on paper and get it out there for somebody else to enjoy, and somebody else to have hope from, somebody else to find a peaceful moment with, and then share it in kindness to others. So I think that we're supposed to have these conversations.
Yes.
And we're supposed to have these.
My most favorite question I was ever asked at a party one time was, are you a pathological liar?
Why would somebody ask you that?
I know. And I said, why do you ask me that? And she said, these things that you're saying, they can't be true. And I'm saying, well, they are. And she said, but they can't be. These are the kinds of things that people say in these are stories for movies. This isn't a real life. I said, it's my real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an interesting was just, you know, it was, but I love the question.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, movies are based on real life stuff because how many, not so much documentary, not so much outside of documentaries, but they're based on a real life story that comes from somebody who somewhere along the line used an event in their life, added their imagination to it, and
Right.
came up with The Notebook.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I see movies that are fantasy and stuff like that, I wonder if that's a premonition almost. It's like 7,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now we have submarines.
Now we
It's
have
like
submarines.
the rocket ships.
Mhm.
Books came first, then the movies of the books, and then now we have rocket ships. But it all starts up here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing, I mean, when you ask God, is this all there is? And God gave you the books, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You received a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and you received that vision from a higher source.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is a meant to be, and you have all the support. It's like with my company, with Itty Bitty, my sister and I had a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and then we started it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the universe, God, is supporting that vision.
Yes.
And as it grows and as it morphs and as it changes, it's almost as if the vision is pulling instead of pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally in a God bubble, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
In this little bubble and being moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
And what an honor to what an honor it is to be alive.
Amen.
Yeah.
Especially during this time when I think that these stories, the stories that you write, the stories that I write, the stories that other people write, because this is not all me, and it's not, it's other people's dreams that are
Yep.
going on these pages.
Yep.
And so, and I think more than anything now, I think the world needs to have those dreams and those visions of what can be, even from what was, I still am a potter. I still got to get my hands in the dirt. I still got to get my hands in the dirt. I am still a potter, and that's part of who I am. But I can use that to tell stories too, because when you construct a story, it's not different than creating a piece of pottery. There are steps to making it happen.
And it's interesting that you just said that, because I got a feeling, because you said you've got to get your hands in the dirt. And for me, I wanted to be a dancer when I was a child, and I became a fitness expert, but I'm also still a dancer. So today, so I'm now 82 years old. I hear music and automatically my body starts to move. I've got to get, and then for me, someone once said, Suzy, when you dance, it's as if the music moves you. And I said, that's exactly what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
The
exactly
music comes inside.
Funny, we have so many things in common. I spent the 70s and the early 80s in the clubs dancing. When did Saturday Night Fever come out, Suzy? When did Saturday Night Fever?
That was the 70s, wasn't it? 76?
77, I think. 76,
yeah.
77. Yeah.
I spent time in the clubs.
Disco 77 on it. Say it again.
I spent times in clubs too. I was married at the time, but we used to summer in East Hampton. We eventually got a house there, and the clubs in East Hampton. This is 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and they were not as crowded. They were great. But now you can't even move. But yeah, I spent times dancing in the clubs too.
Yeah, yeah, fun. What was the name of the club where that movie was filmed? Was it 2001? 2001 with the lighted floor in Saturday Night Fever? Yeah, Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta dancing on the lighted floor. Well, they put one of those. Clubs, the exact same name, close to where I lived on Long Island, and I would go there. and Dan's there. Somebody in the chat says Studio 54. Been there. Know who the guests of honor were? The guests of honor were Darth Vader and R2D2 the night that I was there. Star Wars had just
So I was going to bring that up. I met, this was in 1984. I met the man I would then live with for 3.5 years and moved to California with, and who is still a friend of mine, at a party at Studio 54.
Nice.
And
nice.
That's one of the stories. That can't possibly
exactly.
happen.
One of the stories.
That's why I'm a pathological liar, she thought. Nobody has that. Yeah, well, I did.
Who would say that to you?
I don't remember her name. She was a friend of my cousin's, and we were at a party in San Francisco, and I was just talking to her. And, she would ask me questions, and I'd answer. Are you a pathologist? It's my favorite question.
Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting. But, and we can do a lot of things with the people that we know. I'm good friends with Andy Berger from Voices Against Trafficking. We want to talk about connections, collaboration, community. We with the famous DZD, who is my producer, he put together last year DJs Against Trafficking, and we are going to do it again. We're going to do it on September 26th. We're going to let the cat out of the bag here right now. And Andy Berger and I are going to host a panel in the morning. And throughout the day, we're going to have Dizzy is busy working on getting DJs from around the globe to play music while we have everything there. Here we go. DJs Against Trafficking and Hunger.
Oh,
wow. To raise money for these two causes.
Oh, look at those beautiful people. And I have an author who wrote a book on ending, an itty bitty book on ending child trafficking. Yeah, I'll introduce you to her.
Yes, please do. Please do. Andy is recovering from shoulder surgery, so please keep her in your prayers as we wait for her to heal completely from what she's been through with her shoulder.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. This is the second surgery, so she's going through it. So please pray for Andy Berger. But we're looking forward to that and raising some money for two good causes. And actually, Tony Robbins is all on board the Ending Hunger conversation, and Tim Tebow is a bright light, bringing consciousness to trafficking on another level. And so he's doing a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of things to help rescue people from what this world has become in that arena.
It's so pervasive, and it's shocking. I went to an event. I was invited by the Beckwiths, and it was an awards evening. 5 people who had been trafficked and escaped, and their stories. And literally it was jaw-dropping. Yeah. Because we think of it as just young girls. No. It's all ages, men, women, children, Black, white, Hispanic, all ages, all nationalities. It is everywhere. And my author, Linda, who wrote the book on ending child trafficking, focuses on the trafficking that's done on the internet. Yeah, and parents don't know.
Exactly, and that was one of the things that we addressed with the event last time, and we'll do it again. Is keeping your kids safe from what's going on the internet, and we gave lots of information on how to educate your children, educate your families, educate your friends on, to be aware, to put pieces together, to know that if this and this normally don't go together, there's something wrong. There's something like, and if you see something, say something. If you can do something, you do something, so it's,
You know, it's interesting. Linda was telling me, I said, are you speaking in schools and stuff? And she said, when I can, but a lot of people don't want to know.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of people don't want to know because they might get found out. They might get found out. You know, that's where a lot of people don't know because they might find out that somebody that they know is doing something that they
Oh,
shouldn't be doing. That's one thing. And a
I
lot
didn't
of people
realize
don't
that.
want it. And not a lot of people don't want to know because they just want to keep their head in the sand and pretend that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
You know,
And those are the people that she's a PI.
oh, is she?
I know, and she's so fast. She's so fun because when she gets on our call every Tuesday night, we say, okay, what are you looking into right now? What are you looking into right now? And sometimes
Yeah,
she has great stories and sometimes I can't talk about it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
her passion is ending child trafficking.
Yeah. And I have people in my life who are looking to put together safe houses and do all kinds of things to make a difference to people who got rescued, because getting rescued is only part
That's
of
the
the
first
problem.
step.
That's the first step. Exactly. It's only the
And then
first
can
step.
you imagine the healing that has to take place?
Hmm.
And it's
Hmm.
years.
Hmm. Hmm. The
It's
trauma
not
that
just,
they've been through,
yeah,
PTSD,
yeah.
all kinds of physical ailments from the abuse that they've taken. Yeah, and there's lots of, and it takes is it who wrote the book? It Takes a Village.
Yeah.
It takes a heck of a lot more than a village. It takes a community. It takes connection. It takes
Yeah.
collaboration. Who would have thought that in this conversation, this is where we would go? You know, because, but you have somebody, but here, look at it. Look at it though. You have somebody who's written a book, who's
Yes.
on board this train, who could
Yes.
potentially be part of what we are putting together
Yes.
in September. This is the way it works. So people,
Yes.
if you think that you're in competition with people, think again, because somewhere along the line, there is a string that ties you together, which becomes a rope, which becomes a lifeline for somebody. You know, so I believe that is that's exactly what goes on. And whether we're talking about writing a story or we're talking about saving the world, it's you know.
Exactly. Well, Michael Beckwith in a talk I heard him give one time said, we are like the ocean, all of us the individual waves that make one body of water.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I heard that, I've heard him speak many, many times. And
Yeah.
I was in a conference where I was taking notes because I would have to create for that evening program a hypnosis process of what he spoke on all day long.
Mhm.
It was a wonderful experience for me. And so I'm madly taking notes. And when he said that, I literally had to stop writing
Yeah.
because for me, it was such a profound statement. When
Yeah.
you look at the ocean and then you look at it when it's storming, you look at it when it's flat, you look at single, just one wave here and there. It's all one body of water.
So one body of water. Exactly. Exactly. And then you look at the butterfly effect. Do you ever watch any of the movies that Louis Schwartzberg puts together with the where you can actually see like he just does slow motion photography where you can actually just see every movement. And
Ooh,
yeah, he does slow motion photography and puts it into movie, and he did one on gratitude, which was amazing. Look him up. And I think about like the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings over there, and then something else happens on the other side of the world as a result of that
yep,
butterfly flapping its wings. And we're all connected. We are
yep,
all connected, you know? Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. And
So,
I have a book that I got I watched a YouTube video by somebody who had a near-death experience, and he came back with 10 things that we needed to know. And one of the things was we are all connected. So
yeah.
if anybody thinks that we're not, you know, uh, straight from the heavens it came. We are all
Yeah,
connected.
we are all connected and we live on one island. And
Mhm.
the air we breathe is the air that has been here for as long as there was air. And so we are breathing the same air that Christ breathed. It's the same air. It's just been through a bazillion different
iterations, different people.
And my mother had a near-death experience, and she
This
said,
fascinates me.
pardon me?
This fascinates me.
She said that when she was there, wherever there is, she was talking to God, and he said, you have to go back. And she said, I don't want to go back. Because she said there was such love there. He said, no, you still have work to do.
Yeah.
And when she came back, she created a whole form of therapy that is called myotherapy. And she created it just all of a sudden, she just knew what to do. And she documented it, created it. She's got a phenomenal book, many, but this one is called Pain Erasure, the Bonnie Prudden way. It has a 98% success rate with all physical pain.
Wow.
If it's not pathological, if it's not a disease, if it's like a sprained ankle, a torn knee, all kind, even migraines can be healed through this process. But she had to die and go there and come back with it.
She got an assignment.
She got another assignment.
Yep. She got an assignment. Just like I got an assignment. You got an assignment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody listening and watching and experiencing our conversation is living an assignment, whether they know it or not.
Exactly. It's just amazing to me how, when people get together and start talking about one little thing, look how it evolves into so many topics that we can talk about. And who knows, you may get somebody reaching out to you for something that we have discussed. I might get somebody reaching out to me that we need to make connections for. And that's the other thing too. I love how, you say you've got so many connections and you come to the table with them, and how things have happened because of these connections that have made a difference for you or somebody in your circle, so to speak.
Well, a simple example of that, Teresa, is like you mentioned this event you're having in September, and I have an author that could become a part of whose mission is ending child trafficking.
Yeah.
And we would not have known without this conversation.
Not have known that. Exactly. So, yeah. And then people say, oh, she knows so many celebrity people. I wonder if she knows so-and-so. Can she make a connection for me or whatever like that? And it's like, you know what? Just because somebody is in the limelight, so to speak, at one time in their life doesn't necessarily mean that they have answers to questions that you may have. But I do believe that whoever you're supposed to meet is going to come into your life, whether you bump into them on the street or whether you get an introduction at an event, you meet at a conference, or you get somebody like Suzy Prudden who has connections like crazy to make an introduction. And it would have to be, for me, it would have to be for a good cause. It would have to be for a good cause. It would have to make a difference for somebody else. Just like the same thing, we use the same example. The conversation came up about Voice Against Trafficking and hunger, and you have this connection, which is going to be a great thing. I'm sure that if what's her name, Linda
Berg Henning.
Okay.
I'll send it all to you, and I'll connect you. I'll do an email introduction.
Perfect. Exactly. If she decides that she wants to come to what we're putting together, it's one more voice for the cause. It's one more voice to make a difference.
And she can send people.
Yeah.
Because that's a world that she is in. And so again, it's that butterfly, and all of a sudden it can make a tremendous difference. That when we started this conversation, we didn't know this is the road we would go down at all.
No.
But that's collaboration.
Yes.
across the board. And again, and I want to, re-emphasize that you and I are both publishers. We publish entirely different things. I have people in my stable of authors who would benefit from being part of your stable, so to speak.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
you have people that would benefit. And somebody out there listening, I just started a new book. I'm so excited about it. It's a poetry anthology.
Mhm.
And I started it because I'm thinking there are so many people who write poems, and it's too expensive to publish your own. There's own book with your poems, but you
Mhm.
could become one of 30 people.
Mhm.
Same with
Exactly.
it. And so therefore, I just wanted to do it because I knew it would make people feel good.
Mhm. Makes a difference. It's all about making a difference,
Yeah.
make people feel good. You're absolutely right. So for people who are poets, who want to know more about your project, how do they get in touch with you, or how did they learn about that, Suzy?
There's very simple. You can call me or text me 310-640-8885. That's 310-640-8885, or email me at Suzy Prudden at Gmail, SUZYPRUDDEN at Gmail. And I would, and if you know somebody who would like to write this, Linda wrote an itty bitty book. This is what an itty bitty book looks like. It's just a 30-page book written in numbered sentences and paragraphs. If you're an expert and want to get known in the world, write a book. It's the same. You would do the same thing. And tell me more about how many books. Okay, so I have Itty Bitty Publishing. I have Legacy Press Publishing. I have Little Dog Publishing, which is children's books. I have the new poetry anthology. If any of those things interest any of you, please contact me. I would love to talk to you. And also, are you still collecting people for your?
Yes. Yes. The deadline is coming up short for a daily gift of inspiration, but you can go to dailygiftbookseries.com. It'll take you to the Authentic Endeavors Publishing website for that page where you can learn what we need. It's just 250 words. You get to put a 50-word bio in there and your picture. And if you want to be on the front cover, we can make that happen too. All the information is on the site. And the next one coming is going to be a daily gift of happiness and joy. And we want to release that one around Thanksgiving for Christmas. How would you like to get a book called Happiness and Joy in this day and age?
Yes. Is that the one I'm in?
You're in inspiration, but if you want to be in happiness and joy, that one's coming right behind it. We can make that happen too.
Okay, let's do it.
So, yeah,
let's do it.
No,
you offer. It's so wonderful. Both of us are loving what we do.
Absolutely. 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 It brings me so much joy. I say that if you have ever wanted to become an author, I can make that dream come true for you with only 250 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can do the same with 30 pages written in numbered sentences and paragraphs and bullet points, and make you. I think we've done 164 bestseller campaigns. We have 164 bestsellers.
Nice.
So yeah, it's an interesting, being in the publishing world is interesting, because what you and I do is help people achieve their dreams.
Exactly. And for people, the children's book, I mean, I did a panel of 3 children's authors a couple of weeks ago, 3 women. So Suzy, what do a cupcake, a super fast fly, and a raccoon have in common?
I have no idea.
They spread kindness, friendship, and resilience to themselves, their characters, and to the children who read their books. So it's just, I just have so much fun doing this. It's crazy. I have so much fun.
We have a children's book that focuses on autism. It's called A Bee Like Me.
A Bee
And
Like Me.
A Bee Like Me. And it was written by a woman who is a high functioning autistic, who has 2 autistic children. And the artist is a high functioning autistic woman. And her
Nice.
message is what she wanted people to know. She wanted people to understand autism.
Mm.
And when I read the book, I'm like, I didn't know this.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know this. And it's a children's story.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I would imagine that that book brings, if there's any such thing as normal,
Yes.
it brings the fact that these people who have autism on every level of this book that you're telling me about
Yeah.
get to be who they are authentically and share something that can make a difference for someone else. And that's what
And
it's
they
all about.
and they get to be right for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
not wrong for who they are. The other
Exactly.
wonderful story I have is a woman who wrote a book. She signed up to do an itty bitty book, and that's very, very I mean, it's literally 30 pages, 15 chapters, 2 pages each. We have a template, and you have to follow the rules in it. And she's a doula, and the book is on birth to 6 weeks, just the first 6 weeks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent me her manuscript, and it was too long. And I
Mm-hmm.
called her and I said, it's too long. And she goes, oh, I said, don't worry. I can't cut it. I have to put you into Legacy Press because I have a company where you get big books. I couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
Because it was too good. And I said to her, if I had known what you taught me in your book when my son was born, we would have had a very different experience.
Different experience, exactly. Somebody that I was talking to recently is also a doula, and you know, anyone who has that knowledge to help women birth their children in a much more calm, less hustle and bustle, sterile environment. I think all of our experiences in life should bring some sense of calm, peace, joy to us, regardless of what it is. Even coming through surgery, somewhere along the line, the peace of knowing that whatever the problem was when you went in there is going to be not so much on when you come out. Are you going to be in pain? Yeah, but surgical pain is a lot less taxing on the body than the pain that you go through that led you into surgery in the first place, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I had my knees done. I had my knees.
Oh, I had my hip done, but knees. Oh, bless you. I mean, that's. I'm so glad that I've had my body is choosing that my knees are choosing to be okay. You didn't do them at the same time, did you?
No. I did them 5 years apart from one another. But still, I mean,
but you're okay now.
I'm fine. Yes.
So me too. Before I had my hip done, we didn't know what was wrong because I had this horrible sciatica. I mean, I could barely walk. And we finally figured out, oh, you have no hip bone. And I had the surgery afterwards. It's like my doctor was so sweet. When I walked into his office after the surgery, he said, that's why I do this work. So that you can walk into the surgery, my office without pain.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you know.
And we do our work so we can open doors for people, and have people feeling really great about something they've created.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
It's so exciting to watch somebody. Pardon me?
It is very exciting.
Well, I've had authors video themselves when they get their books. You know, we send everybody 20 books for their promotions. And I had one author do a Facebook Live thing when she got her books, and she's, look at my book, look at my book. It's a wonderful feeling.
It is.
And then when you're someplace and you say, I wrote a book, you wrote a book, it shifts the dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. And they say, and people write books about everything. Everything. Like, I don't think there's any one topic, and no stones unturned when it comes to writing, because everybody has a story. And what you do with that is strictly you. Your voice. And that's one thing that I'm adamant about. Like when people come to me and they write their story, I make sure that even through the editing process, that it's their story. Nobody took their voice away,
Right.
and that it's their story. People, for me, I learned a long time ago that showing up authentically is the best thing that you can do for yourself and the people around you, because they know who you are. And they know that they're going to, in any circumstance or any situation, can you have emotions? Yes, of course. But I had a friend one time tell me, Teresa, whether you're sending me a text, whether you're talking to me on the phone, whether you're writing something online, or you've sent me something in the mail, I know it's you. I know you wrote it. I know that it's you. It's your voice coming through every time.
I had a similar story when I was still in New York. And I was still being the Suzy Prudden fitness person and a manager. And we were talking to a PR company because they wanted to hire me for something. I can't remember what it was.
Mhm.
And so we're having lunch, and I got up to go to the ladies' room. And when I came back, I heard my manager saying to these people, what you see is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
person that you're meeting is no different in front of a camera than she is in person, and she is sitting here at this table.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got the job.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay. And people want that. They want to have, they want to have somebody who's real. They want to have somebody who's compassionate. They want to have somebody who's can guide them in whatever direction they need to go. We have 3 minutes left. This hour is almost gone, Suzy. This hour is almost gone.
It's amazing.
So let's do this. I want to invite you guys and anybody who's listening, anyone who's listening, instead of living in a world where competition is the word of the hour, I'm going to invite you all into collaboration. And instead of being isolated, become connected. And instead of being home alone, and get out into the community, create a community that is for the same cause as you, doing the same kind of work, making a difference like you are doing. And here, this is a great example of how two voices from the same
industry,
the same field. I'm a word nerd. You call yourself a word nerd? I'm a word nerd. So we collaborate as word nerds and make sure that everybody who wants to get their voice out there and heard, they can get their voice out there. Suzy, one more time, give your contact information. And I know you're on Facebook and some social media platforms. It's all in the description that will be below this video, but go ahead.
The easiest is Suzy Prudden at Gmail is a direct link to my Gmail account, and also my company, Itty Bitty Publishing, Suzy at Itty Bitty Publishing. And if you want to write a book, if you want to write a story, if you are an expert in your field and you want to get known, that's the best way to do it. If you're a poet, call me, 310-640-8885.
Yeah, or call me. And if we wherever you fit, wherever your story fits, that's where we can help you to shine like the superstar that you are in the place that is best suited for your story. So now I have to say goodbye to everybody. I don't want to do that, but
I know I'm having too much fun. And Teresa, you've got to come on my author's call.
I will.
And I'm going to introduce you to Linda. Okay. And thank you for this opportunity. This has been fun.
You're welcome. It's been a lot of fun. So everybody who's listening, every conversation that you have makes a difference in the life of somebody else, and it makes a difference in your life. Until we meet again, let all the conversations that you have this week make a difference for someone else or for yourself. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That brings us to the close of another episode of Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi. We want to sincerely thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us today. Our greatest hope is that today's discussion inspired your personal growth, encouraged you to share your unique gift, and gave you the courage to write your own magnificent story. If this message resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on our Conversations That Make a Difference Facebook page. This will ensure you never miss a moment of inspiration. We air new episodes every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly helps us reach and empower more people. Until next time, keep making a difference. We look forward to welcoming you back next Tuesday to our next conversation.